G'day guys, welcome to the Daily Athlete. This is episode number 35, the second part of our squatting series. So today we're going to be focusing on opening up the hips, why the hips are important for that perfect squat, okay? The hips are very, very important for the squat because they allow us to get into a below parallel position, okay? Being able to have our knees out nice and wide, being able to keep our chest up. If your hips are tight, much like the ankles, you'll find that your chest will start to come forward to try and compensate because you're not able to get to full range, okay? Because you have an issue with your hips. So, most important stretch to be able to open up those hips is, which we have been through previously, I'm going to go through it again, the couch stretch, okay? So what we want to make sure with the couch stretch is that it's quite uncomfortable, okay? But we need to make sure that we put the time in, we put the effort in with it to be able to consistently do it, okay? And make sure that we're progressing with it. If you're doing it, say, once or twice a week, you're not going to make too much progress with it. If you really want to see progress with it and make it better, you have to be doing it every single day, okay? So, give you a demo. We'll see how this goes on my weight tree. Should be right. Okay, so, want to make sure that the knee is in line with the wall, so preferably use a wall, okay? Want to make sure that this knee is right in the corner of the wall. Then we want to get our other leg and we want to come up and pull up, okay? Other leg out in front. That's our goal. If you can't get there, you can only get to this position. That's fine. Hang out there for a little bit, okay? Try and straighten up as best you can. Hang out and work where you're not comfortable, just a little bit outside that comfort zone, all right? What we want to make sure though is that we're constantly improving that. We can use what's called a contract relax method with that as well, which we did in the previous episode with our ankles. Pretty much what that means is hanging out at end range with our hip for say 15 seconds, coming down, relaxing. Holding a little bit more for 15 seconds, coming down, relaxing, okay? We're not bouncing in and out, we're coming up, we're holding, and then we're going back down. We never want to bounce, okay? Also make sure you've done like a bit of a warm up, either a row or gone for a bit of a walk or a run. Something to be able to get warm before you start doing the stretch. That will help a heap. It will take a while to progress if yours is very, very tight. If you're still at this stage where you're looking at the floor, it can be a bit hard to be able to get your head in the game to be able to improve it, to help get you upright. But the only way it will improve is if you put time in. Okay, you have to dedicate time to it every single day. So every time you go and train, couch stretch straight before you start to train, okay? So accumulate 6 to 8 rounds on both sides, okay? Using a contract relax method, okay? In order to get results with it, to progress with it, you have to be doing it every day. It's hard enough that you've been probably sitting all day or doing a fair bit of sitting, you probably sat on the way to the gym, okay? We need to undo all that damage from the day and then as well as make progress on top of that. And we're not going to be able to make that progress unless you're putting in the time on a consistent basis, okay? On a daily basis. So that's the first one, couch stretch. You will notice a difference with that immediately. So you can do a few squats, couch stretch, go back, test again, and you will notice an immediate difference, okay? The way to tell if it's an ankle or a hip issue, what you'll find is that when you actually elevate your heels up onto something, so say I got this weight plate here, and I put my heels up on the edge of it, and I squatted, and then went down, and I found that it was a heap easier when I had my heel elevated, like ridiculously easy, and my chest was nice and upright, and I felt like a new person. What you'll find is that your ankles need a heap more work, okay? If your couch stretch is really tight and you can't get up, then what you're going to find is your hips are going to need a heap more work. Very, very common to have both as an issue, okay? If you can, work them both in, but it's more important that you get the consistency with the one exercise than having a whole shopping list of mobility exercises that you've dragged from 10 different websites into your mobility program each day. Pick the exercises that you need, implement them on a daily basis with no negotiating, okay? So it has to be done, has to be those exercises. If you have time, then add in all the other stuff that you'd like to do, but make these a priority, the ones that you have to do that aren't negotiable. Okay, so that's the couch stretch. The next thing we need to look at as well, which is linked to the hip, is our adductors, okay, which are the muscles on the inside of our legs. Very, very common. People will be able to maybe squat with their feet in a certain position, but as soon as they change it around, they start to get tightness, uncomfortable. Maybe when they're doing cleans and snatches, they lift and they're not able to get their legs out wide enough, okay, when they're receiving. What this often means is that the adductors are tight, which are these muscles on the insides of our legs, okay? If they're tight, what that's going to mean is it's going to draw your knees in, okay? So when you're squatting, you'll find that you won't actually be able to hold a nice, even stance. When you get to the bottom, your knees will start to get pulled in, okay? And you're going to have issues. So what we need to be able to work on here is loosening up those adductors. So this one is not fun, but does get good results. So what we're going to work on with our adductors is grabbing a kettlebell, some sort of weight, okay? Try and set this up the best way I can so that you can see. Takes a bit of preparation, this one. We're going to have our leg at 90 degrees, okay? So we're laying on our side, similar to when we stretch our back or twist our back, okay? While we're laying on the floor. Now, so we're going to situate that in the middle of our adductor, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a weight, preferably a kettlebell, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to sit that directly on top, okay? And we're just going to hold there. We're not going to move backwards and forwards, we're just going to hold. So most of you will find that this will be pretty bloody sore, okay? This is even a little bit tight for me doing this now, okay? So we want to make sure that your leg's relaxed and we have that kettlebell situated straight over the top of the foam roller, okay? Has to be having pressure in that one point. Take it easy with the kettlebell. Also be careful when you're putting it on top of your leg, okay? The other thing that we need to think about with this one is moving that foam roller up our adductor, okay, as we go. So spend a minute to 2 minutes on one spot, hold it there. Go to the next bit, next bit, next bit. Same with this, you can test and retest. First, do a few squats. Do this on both sides, spend a bit of time with it, then test and retest again with a different stance squat, maybe go a little bit wider. What you'll find is actually a lot easier for you to get deeper, a lot easier for you to keep your knees out. You won't have your knees drawing in, it won't feel uncomfortable and very, very tight and feel like it's drawing everything in. Okay, so couch stretch, contract, relax. Do six rounds of 20 seconds on each side. I would even go more, maybe even more than that. Maybe go 8 to 10 rounds of 20 seconds. Okay, contract, relax. To be able to really start progressing with it. The other thing we want to work on as well is our adductors, so we can spend a couple of minutes. We just want to find the shitty spots and be able to work on them, okay, and try to break them up and test and retest beforehand. So maybe 2 to 3 minutes on each side, okay. So 2 to 3 minutes on each side here, 8 rounds of 20 seconds for the couch stretch, okay. As I said before, as I always drill, has to be done on a daily basis, okay? Don't mix this with 1,000 other exercises and then hope that you're going to get better at it. You have to isolate these exercises, do them by themselves, put time aside for them every day. Then with the extra time that you have, then you can stick the other stuff in and the other things that you want to do. If you ever want to make progress with mobility, you need to make sure that you have the right prescription of exercises. 2, that you actually implement them on a daily basis and there's consistency with it. Okay, that's the only way to be able to get better, is drilling it on a daily basis, improving, getting that bit better, bit better, bit better. Okay, so adductors, couch stretch for our hips, go and get cracking.